This is All India Radio. We now bring you a curtain raiser to the 51st edition of the International Film Festival of India, which starts tomorrow, the 16th of January 2021 in Goa.
चलती फिरती हंसती बोलती नाचती गाती तस्वीरें
दुनिया के सब रंग दिखाती रूप दिखाती तस्वीरें
पर्दे पर सब राजों से पर्दे को उठाती तस्वीरें
वो दिल बहलाती कभी हंसाती कभी रुलाती तस्वीरें
ये हिंदुस्तानी सिनेमा ये मूवीज ये फिल्में रहती है करोड़ों के दिल में भारत के सिनेमा की है जय जयकार भारत के सिनेमा की है जय जयकार.
We are in conversation with Mr. Chaitanya Prasad, Additional Director General of the Directorate of Film Festival, and Mr. Amit Satija, CEO of the Entertainment Society of Goa. Gentlemen, welcome to All India Radio. We are delighted to speak with you about IFFI. Reportage has been consistent since November last year, keeping interest alive in the film festival, talking about a hybrid model, fewer registrations, number of delegates, etc. And so we've been eagerly awaiting more clarity on what the 51st edition of IFFI will be like. But at the outset, is it to be IFFI 2020 or 2021? And how does that impact IFFI, which would normally follow in November of 2021?
It's a continuation of where we left last year. IFFI 2020, if you talk about the dates, 20th to 28th November could not be held because of the COVID pandemic. And it was postponed, it was not cancelled. This is certainly the 2020 edition of IFFI. So perhaps in 2021 we'll have two IFFIs. 2020 reflects the International Film Festival taking place amidst the COVID crisis, and a new format, a new shape to keep the spirit of cinema alive. And 2021 hopefully should be done in the normal scale, in the normal pattern that we've done traditionally.
Mr. Satija, the ESG under you is responsible for the actual physical logistics of IFFI. How is IFFI this year going to be different from the previous edition, which was the Golden Jubilee edition of IFFI?
This year, the concept is a little different compared to last year. Last year was the Golden Jubilee edition. So our approach was to go as far as possible and expand it as much as possible so that the entire country can witness a performance which has not been seen earlier. So in addition to more than 300 films, we had various performances at different places. In fact, we had taken films to different talukas also, and we had open air screening at two places. We had mobile van screenings. We had screenings at different auditoriums. And we had various other cultural events which were organized throughout Panjim. So the kind of rush people saw last year, it was unprecedented, and the kind of involvement people had. This year is due to COVID protocol. We had to go just contrary, and we had to constrict all our activities and to limit it to the core film activities. So the number of venues are just two this time. No open air screening is happening. So only in Kala Academy there is one screen, and in this campus, which houses also Entertainment Society of Goa's office, we have 6 screens. 4 screens of the multiplex which is owned by the ESG, and 2 screens in the Manganese Palace. Now, due to COVID-19 protocols, the number of seats are going to be restricted. So every theatre will have not more than 200 sitting capacity maximum. Even if Kala Academy has a sitting capacity of more than 950, we'll be restricting the viewers up to a limit of 200 only. So that limits our ticket sale capacity to 950 odd numbers. Similarly, in opening and closing ceremony also, the number of people who will be attending will be restricted due to COVID-19 protocol. Earlier, thousands of people used to come and attend. However, the live telecast will be done in all the theatres. People can watch there. Live streaming is always done by DD National and other channels. So people can definitely enjoy the show, maintaining the COVID-19 protocol.
With the postponement of IFFI from November last year to January this year, how has it enabled or strengthened the arrangements being made?
As far as the arrangements were concerned, we were working very hard right from April last year, and we kept November in mind, but unfortunately the pandemic happened, and a step-by-step approach of seeing how things unveiled. So the festival last year was postponed, and preparations were always on. We got 2 extra months as bonus to prepare. We were prepared to even have the festival in November. I mean, our preparations were good. The only thing which perhaps changed was that once the pandemic happened, the element of a hybrid model came in, when we had elements of virtual festival and the physical festival being blended together.
With the hybrid model that you talked about, how much will be virtual and how much will be physical attendance in person?
It's very difficult to give a numbers game to the hybrid model, you see. There are certain elements which you will see yourself where the physical element will play a role as far as physical screening of cinema is concerned, opening and closing ceremonies, different segments of the festival which have been traditionally held, keeping in mind the COVID guidelines and the COVID protocol. So all that will be very firmly followed. Virtual is an outreach which is unlimited. Content and technology go together. But the important thing in the virtual segment would be online masterclasses in collaboration with the Film and Television Institute of Pune, in conversation series, homages, some films will also be screened. So the virtual is very rich. It's a big push to getting students of cinema involved in a virtual festival, and that too for the International Film Festival. So I would not like to put a numbers game to it. Both segments are rich.
Given the present scenario with prevalent concerns about COVID-19 and the mandatory precautions on social distancing, masking, etc., what are going to be the norms for physical attendance at the festival?
We follow the COVID protocol norms as outlined by the Government of India and the Government of Goa, Entertainment Society of Goa. There are firm protocols which everyone has to follow.
Mr. Satija, would you like to weigh in on this question?
We have modified our entire protocol accordingly. For example, we used to distribute bags till last year. Our tote bag used to carry the catalog and card, there are certain other souvenir, etc. That we have discontinued this time. The delegates will be getting only the delegate cards. Number 1. Number 2, all the necessary protocol, like without mask the person will not be allowed entry. Then temperature will be checked at the entry point itself. Then there will be a gap of 1 seat in between 2 viewers, so that necessary distance can be maintained. Frequent sanitization will be done in between the shows. Even the transportation vehicles like cars, etc. will be frequently sanitized. Similarly, the people who are attending, those in case are found with any kind of symptoms, they will be immediately taken to the hospital for testing, etc. and they will be isolated in case they are found positive. So we are taking all necessary precautions like provision of sanitizer, mask, etc. and everything. And we want people to enjoy the film festival this time also, the way they used to enjoy last time. The only thing is we have to maintain the COVID-19 protocol so that it does not result in the spread of more virus.
Since you said that temperature will be checked at every point of entry, I'm assuming that also includes entry into every cinema hall before every show. Does that increase the lead time towards being able to admit people as well?
To overcome that particular problem, we have requested DFF to increase the gap between 2 movies. So this time the gap is going to be 1.5 hours between each movie. Number 2, reduce the rush at the same time in the same venue. We requested them to do the scheduling in such a way that all the 4, 5, 6 venues don't start at the same time and there's a gap of around 20 minutes between the shows. So those kind of things we have already factored in so that there is no rush.
There has been some discussion that delegates will only get to watch content virtually while physical attendance in cinemas is reserved for VIPs, members of the film fraternity, media. Could you clarify? Because that really is something that is worrying people. It has discouraged some people from registering as well, especially since a number of VIP seats sometimes go unoccupied and film lovers might miss out?
Nobody would miss out anything this year. They have to, first of all, register. The Entertainment Society of Goa has taken very firm and proactive steps to ensure participation of all.
So will delegates get to view films in cinema halls?
Absolutely. I think there is a misunderstanding on that. It's very clear when ESG came out with the guidelines. I think Amit Satija, he'll give you the specifics because he's outlined a fantastic plan to put things in place.
That problem, what you're saying, the reserve seats getting unoccupied, was resolved last time itself. When we started releasing those seats at the last moment, people got to watch all the movies, and a lot of people appreciated that particular. Now we were definitely keeping some seats reserved because there are sometimes the number of crew, number of members from the film fraternity who come at the last moment normally is more, and being guests, we had to give them priority. So that was a rationale for keeping them. However, there was no reservation for VVIPs or VIPs, as you said. This time, as the number of seats are limited, similarly, the number of registration is also a little less than last year or last year. So I think it will even out and people will be able to watch movies.
Could I ask how many people have registered this year already?
Roughly 2,500 persons have already registered, and the confirmation has not come from everyone so far. But I think this number normally increases when the festival approaches.
The last year has seen a far lower volume of new content being released compared to a normal non-COVID year. A fair quantum of content we know has gone to OTT instead of the big screen. Has this impacted the access to content or to members of the industry, because we normally see so many of them at IFFI?
I think we are in for an absolute visual treat. There's no dearth of content. It was a difficult task and choice for us to eliminate cinema here. I would request you to come and watch the movies and see the rich content that would be at display as far as the physical content of the festival is concerned. And I would only request that once the programming is out, you see the selection of films. As far as OTT is concerned, yes, that's a new narrative that has emerged, but the traditional norms of cinema viewing would always stay alive, and especially in the light of the new INOX complex which has been inaugurated just 2 days ago by the Honorable Chief Minister. I think sitting at home and watching a movie and watching something in the INOX theatre is a visual treat virtually.
That's really good to know, and it's lovely to know that there are going to be 224 films, so not very different in terms of the quantum of content that we usually see. Is there any change in the usual categories that we've been seeing over the last so many years?
No, basically the categories are the same. What is going to be important is the number of films that will become on play. The homages are there, the retrospective is there, the country focus is there, world cinema is there, the kaleidoscope is there. So all those segments are there, excepting that the number of movies have come down because of the restrictions of viewing that we have put in place.
Bangladesh is the country in focus this year. Could you tell us more?
It's a very concerted decision taken by the government. Bangladesh is a nation where creativity is blooming and cinema is blossoming there. They've done some wonderful cinema. Their people are coming over. The artists of Bangladesh would be here in full steam. The High Commissioner of Bangladesh, His Excellency, has also agreed to be here with his delegation. Also reflects the power of cinema in the region. You see, as far as South Asia or within the neighborhood is concerned, and it also shows that cinema has no boundaries, and people get an opportunity to see cinema from the neighborhood, the kind of depth and intensity their films had. In fact, one of the films, if I remember correctly, was also an Oscar entry as far as Bangladesh is concerned. So I think it's going to be a visual treat.
We look forward to that, particularly since it's a country whose sensibilities are so close to our own Indian ones. How will the press conferences and panel discussions be held? You mentioned that the masterclasses will be virtual, but what about the press conferences?
That's being organized by the Press Information Bureau. They are putting systems in place. Some press conference may be physical with limited attendance protocols, and quite a few would be done virtually. They would follow the same norms that are being done at Delhi at the National Media Center. We have to take care as far as the health precautions are concerned. There's no running away from that. Yeah.
The opening and closing ceremonies usually involve much glitz and fanfare with the red carpet and a lot of acts. Will that be the case this year as well?
Well, as far as the opening and closing ceremonies are concerned, you would appreciate that we have to take into account the COVID guidelines and the protocol. And Entertainment Society of Goa, DFF, Government of Goa, Ministry of I&B, we are putting a framework in place to ensure that it's not the business as usual. We have to ensure the fact that while protocols of entertainment and showbiz, if I may be allowed to say, continue, but what is important is the underlying denominator, that we don't go overboard. And I can only tell you this much, at the moment you'll be in for a pleasant surprise as to how we are going to weave technology and content together to ensure that we have a very meaningful opening and closing ceremony.
In that case, at 3 p.m. tomorrow, I'm sure our listeners will be by their radio sets or watching their television screens waiting for the festivities to start. Is there any message that you would like to pass on to our listeners and to IFFI viewers and attendees?
It's a nice mix of physical as well as virtual film festival. This is happening for the first time. That part of festival is being organized in a virtual manner.
Come and enjoy cinema, make use of the platform that has been put in place, appreciate the hard work put on ground by people who matter, people who are the frontline workers who've made sure that if it takes place, we have tried to put a program in place keeping into account the best of cinema, etc. We have to ensure people watch films in a serene environment and they are happy and contented and there's no element of fear. So both DFF and the ASG are working very closely and collaboratively to ensure that all measures, standards are put in place so that the COVID protocols are there, and as also the element of entertainment comes into play. We have our colleagues and friends and collaborators from the Government of Goa and the Entertainment Society who worked very hard at Ground Zero to ensure that perfect conditions prevail so that the 51st edition stands out as a festival and is a showpiece for the entire world community to understand how festivals are organized in the midst of the past unfortunate gloom that prevailed due to COVID-19.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad and Mr. Satija, for your insights into the 51st IFFI. I think this gives us a good view and an understanding of what the arrangements are going to be. I know people are eagerly awaiting the start of the festival and to get back into the cinema halls because it has been a long wait. We wish the 51st edition of IFFI much success.
चलती फिरती हंसती बोलती नाचती गाती तस्वीरें
दुनिया के सब रंग दिखाती रूप दिखाती तस्वीरें
पर्दे पर सब राजों से पर्दे को उठाती तस्वीरें
वो दिल बहलाती कभी हंसाती कभी रुलाती तस्वीरें
ये हिंदुस्तानी सिनेमा ये मूवीज ये फिल्में रहती है करोड़ों के दिल में भारत के सिनेमा की है जय जयकार.
That was the curtain raiser to the 51st edition of the International Film Festival of India being held in Goa. This program has been produced by All India Radio, Panaji.